Hey guys, welcome back to part number 4 of my Viggen build. This guy always upside down that way. So this week we're done with assembly, so this week we're going to start painting, which is the fun part. So we're going to start priming it up, get a shadow coat down, and get some paint on this guy. It's going to look really good, especially that red tail is really going to pop and make the aircraft look beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, so welcome back to part number 4. Hope you had a great week. This is exactly where we left off last week, and we're ready to start priming this guy. So, as always, I'm going to use Mr. Surf's 1500 black as my primer. Mix 50-50 with lacquer thinner, and I've kind of jumped on the rapid thinner bandwagon. So I finally got some of this, and I kind of really like the way it works with the Mr. Servicer. So about 50-50 with this guy. This is the Mr. Hobby rapid thinner, which dries really quickly. It's really designed, I think, for metallic paints. Really good for metallics, and yeah, kind of like it. So definitely jumping on the bandwagon. So it'll dry super quick with lacquer paints, like literally almost seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and paint, prime all this stuff up. See, I've got more like sticks ready to go, different components, even the proper canopy, because remember we got last week we got the spare canopy on, just cover up the seat and stuff while we spray. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and start getting this guy painted up and primed up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so at the spray booth, I totally forgot to record this. I was going to show you my shadow coat, which I've done in previous videos, but I've not done it for a few months, so I figured I'd just do it again in case I've got any new subscribers or people watching these videos. So, we did prime that up black. Really nice with that rapid thinner. So, the rapid thinner worked beautifully with this guy shot around about 15 PSI for my system. Mr. 1500 Mr. Surfacer black. So I did that, gave this beautiful smooth coat, and then I had to go ahead and create a shadow coat for pre-shading. So this is going to be a light gray color, so you're definitely going to see some pre-shading through it. So there's two ways you can do this. You can either just do the thing gray. I see it flaps about to break off, and it did. It's hard to hold it, not holding the flaps. So you can either paint the whole thing grey and just with black lines go around it that kind of way, but I do put it the other way. So I prime it black and come back with some white and just round it. There's no kind of skill or any kind of wizardry to this. Just chuck it down as messy as possible. So I used Vallejo Game Air Dead White 72701. It's nice and thick, spread straight out of the bottle. It's pre-thinned, acrylic, works fine over lacquer paint, which obviously Mr. Servicer is, and it just covers it really well. I tried using LPs and lacquer paints, and just it's too thin. It doesn't cover the black. So first, what I do is instead of wearing those like black nitrile gloves, latex ones, I just wear like old dish gloves, reusable and work great for holding kind of parts like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head and get my airbrush, which is a Pro Convoy PS289. I like the 0.3 needle for everything I do. I do have different ones. This one's A for acrylic. I've marked back here, one for lacquers and one for metallics. So yeah, I love these airbrushes. Running through my bench vent. I've done videos on this. Check back my cave tours and stuff. This is the bench vent BV360, I think it is, and I've got a Sparmax 620 compressor. So I'm going to spray this. I spray a little air pressure, nice and close, probably even with this, probably about, I think I'm set to about 10-11 PSI. So give it a little bit of shake, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back in and paint the bottom with all the basically inside all the panel lines, center of all the panel lines. I'm just going to spray it and create that kind of shadow effect. So we put the paint on top, it's going to show through and show some weathering. So I just remembered I did leave some thinners in here, so I just have to clean it out. So it's a waste of paint, but okay, we're clean out, ready to go. So let me hit the compressor, and we'll get going.
Okay, that is it. This time I didn't speed it up. I did it normal speed. Normally I'd fast forward it super fast to get through this, but this time I slowed it down so you can see the speed I work at. So just get it messy. No real method of madness, as I said. Just kind of get that coat down. Come back to certain areas again, put more paint down to make it brighter. Less paint obviously makes it more darker. Normally what I do too is most of the time when I build aircraft, the wheelbase are typically white. So I'll spray more of a white down, then I'll foam it, put some foam and mask it off. On this case, this is actually aluminum or aluminium, depending on the world, on these bays. So we're going to come back and paint those separately. I'm not quite sure right now if I'm going to paint those first or after. You know, I'll probably paint them next. I'll paint the inside of the intakes. These, I'll mask them off, and then we can put the paint color down. So that's kind of showing you guys how the shadow coat's going down, the pre-shading effect. You can see it better too on this guy maybe. The fuel tank, you see how I run through the power lines again. So when I put the paint on, it's going to look, you know, grimy and accentuate some detail on there. Paint all the stuff separately, as I mentioned before. So like here's the tail, again done. In hindsight, the top part's black, so I should have, it's perfect color for the primer, so I should have masked it off and put the white down, but now I've got to paint it again, but it's not a big deal. The black band across the top, the rest of it's going to be red. So that's that guy done. And yeah, so I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit. Doesn't need much drying time, 30 minutes or so. It's probably almost dry now to the touch, to be honest with you. So I'm just gonna let it dry a little bit, clean my airbrush out, and then we'll come back and we'll put the paint first. We'll talk about the paint and put the first paint level of, or color of paint down. Okay, so that's all dry. By the way, quick one. If you wondered why I don't never have the backs on my airbrushes, it's just because I'm always removing the needles every time I do a color change or every time I'm done. So I'm always taking needles out to clean it and clean the airbrush every time. So for me to have the back on, I don't need to control the trigger most of the time. So, I mean, to unscrew it, remove it, put it back on again, it's just a time drain for me. Doing it, you know, dozens of times every week or day or whatever. So that's why I leave the back off. I don't need it. Cool. So change my airbrush to my metallic one. Again, the reason for separate brush from metallics is that no matter what you spray, you always have some flakes left. So if I'm, say, using one airbrush, I spray some gold or silver or something, and then 2 days later I want to do a clear coat, might show up there, so contamination and stuff. So use separate airbrushes if you can. If you starting on hobby, one airbrush is more than fine, but as you get more advanced and you know, as you get more stuff as years go on, you do find it's better to have separate airbrushes. It just works a little bit easier. So I'm going to spray the silver first. Now for the wheel bays, landing gear bays, and the inside of the intakes, and obviously around the edge too, probably we'll mask those up. So I'm going to use, I really like this color right now, the semi-matte aluminum Alclad 116. Really do love how this color turns out. So I get a little shake, and with this Alclad, the key is just a little bit, very low air pressure, and just mist the thing on. Don't hose it on always and go all kinds of hot mess. So just nice and gently. This does stink, so you do need a mask and a spray booth for this one. So here we go. Oh. Okay, there we're done. You can see already what a nice kind of silver that is. I really love that color. Very metal-y kind of look to it. So yeah, awesome. Especially when I black wash to it as well, makes pick the details out. So painted those three up. Did the outside too. I'm not sure how well this is going to mask. Might peel off. Fingers crossed it doesn't, but we'll see how we go. Might have to paint that again afterwards. Not a big deal. The bands around the front of the intakes I'm talking about. So yeah, again, really love that color. See how it looks in the camera? Yeah, it's a beautiful metal color. So this one again is the semi-matte aluminum or aluminium ALC116. Unfortunately, I don't have much left in this because I've only used it, but a couple of months ago, last time I used it, I knocked the bottle over and spilt half of it on my cutting mat. So a bit of a waste, but yeah, do love this. Stinks real bad. I guess it's like an enamel. I think it is some kind of enamel based. But let it's dry. Give it plenty of time to dry. Maybe this one 24 hours even, just to fully hit. 24 hours to fully kind of cure, and then safe to mask it up, and then we can paint the grey on underneath. So yep, that's that part done. Power of editing. I'll be back when this is masked up, and we get going on the next color. Okay, so let the silver or the aluminum dry. Masked up you see I masked it up, little foam. This is just the old packing foam from resin parts and stuff. I have a whole cup full of different pieces. Works great. So do that from the intakes to masked up the silver parts. Glued the black part back on, which I snapped off, and ready to go. Paint. So paint, I actually have my favorite Hataka lacquer. I actually have the colors in stock. So looking at the chart here, the bottom's going to be, works out as light gold gray, and the top is like a medium sea gray, which is FS36270. So you can see here, so we're going to paint the underside and then a little bit the front. We're going to paint in this light gold gray first, which is Hataka 48. And then the dark color is Hataka 54. Well, basically a medium sea gray is what it is. And then light gold gray for the underside is what instructions call for. So I'll give it a good shake. Gotta get my airbrush too, so I'm gonna need my lacquer one, which is gonna be a PS274 Procon. Spraying about 10 psi for lacquer paint. So mix it with their own lacquer thinner. I just decant them into these little bottles, so it's easy to kind of use. So about 50-50 mix. And give it a really good mix. Hard time getting the lid off that one. Okay. And add it, and you can thin this really well. The only problem these dropper bottles are, if you mix too much, you can't pour it back in, which I don't like. But there's the color. The color cup mixed nicely. I know I'm bad, I don't put the cap on, so I always spill everywhere. Alright, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to spray the underside of this and the underside of the two canards with this color first. Okay, on with the booth. Alright, so I ran out of places to hold it a little bit, so I'm going to let this 10 minutes just dry off a little bit, and I can hold it a little bit better and do the front end. See, just building it up nice and gently, low air pressure, not hosing it on, and you can see that kind of pre-shading is kind of showing through again, which I want. So it's coming in nice and gently. You can say the color is beautiful. Love Hataka paint, the way you can fit it to whatever you want. So yeah, so I'm going to let this dry for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to do the front end. Give the instructions right here. See how the front bit. So I want to handle it a bit better. So I'll do the front bit, and then yeah, we'll be good to go. So I'm going to say leave this in the color carpet. It's not going to dry or anything for 5-10 minutes. Then I come back and I can finish that off. But again, just light coats. Want to see that pre-shading coming through from the underside, and just kind of build it up. Alright, so it's been about an hour. I let this dry, the light gold grey. Masked up the front here, and backfilled with some tape. So we'll go ahead and spray the top color now, which is going to be, again, the Attribution 54, which is FS36270. It's like a medium sea grey kind of color. So we're going to spray get these two pieces over here. We're going to need to do the tops of the canards. I think I need to mask those. I'll just be careful how I spray it. The canopy, and we need to spray this guy red too, the tail. So I'm going to put that right there so I don't forget. Canopy. Put it right there. Okay, and then just again 50-50 mix. And I do what you should never do, and that's mix the paint in the color cup. Because I'm lazy, you should always mix it in a little plastic shot cup, shot glass or container or something, ideally first. But okay, there you go. So that's dark gray color. Let's go ahead and put the move on, and we'll get this sprayed. Okay, so there you go. So that's the top coat done. Let that dry a little bit, then take the masking off, and then painted the red tail too. All right, cool. So I'm gonna let this all dry a little bit. Let's say get the masking off, and see how we look.
All right, so it's been about 30-40 minutes since the paint went down. Took the masking tape off already. I like to do it as soon as possible. I don't like to leave masking tape on or putty or anything on for a long time. Really love this color, beautiful gray color. And you can see we're looking really good. So I don't want to handle it too much again because, you know, just recently painted it not long ago. So I do notice I have a seam line out the front of the nose. I need to sand that back and maybe fill and fix that. And a little bit scuff mark here, although I can kind of tie in some weathering. So the front just needs a little bit touch up. What I do is when I do the fuel tank, same color, while I've got paint in the gun, I'll just touch that up real quick. Other than the rest of it, looks really nice. Again, loving that gray. So the colors used were light gold gray, FS3440, and this is an F15C gray, I think it is, for the camo, FC36270, which is Attribution 54 and 48, if you need the numbers. But yeah, beautiful colors, definitely that gray on this Viggen shape. It looks beautiful. I'm looking forward to putting this next to my the leaf camo one I have with the greens and everything. Yeah, it's gonna look awesome. So painted the tail red, although it's a little blotchy, I think, because we went over the black primer. So I need to go hit red again, another coat of red, and then mask it up and paint the top bit black, the band around the top black. Also on this guy too, so right now it's about 9:30 at night, so I'm going to leave this overnight to fully cure and everything, and then in the morning I'm going to mask up these 3 little panels at the back here on the, I don't know what it is, like air intake kind of, well, 2 on there and 1 at the bottom, and they need to be aluminium or aluminum color. So I'm going to use my favorite metallic right now, which is the semi-matte aluminum 116 from Alclad. I know, I'm just loving that color right now. Like, just look at the, you can see on the camera on the wheel blades, just a really nice metal color. So I'm going to paint those 3 in the morning. Like I say, mask it up, super easy, just mask that up, and then paint those 3 panels, touch up the nose, and we should be good to go. The cannons are obviously painted as well. What I should mention is too, what I normally never do any spray booth stuff. I always speed it up like 400% so you can so you're not seeing through a video of like an hour video of me just spraying. So this video here, so when I put down the shadow coat and put down the light gray, it was real time. So just kind of show you the speed I work at and how the pressure and that kind of stuff. The last bit I did with the dark gray, I did speed that up. So you see me moving around real quickly and stuff. That was sped up like 400%. But the rest of it was at 100 normal real time spraying. Just kind of show you guys for a change. People mentioned before about me spraying like high air pressure and stuff. No, my compressor sets about 10, 11 psi is what I spray at, so I get nice and close. And yeah, so that's about the pressure I'm using. I think when you speed it up too, it does look like I'm hosing it on, but I'm not. I'm just kind of misting it on. But yeah, that is it. So let me clean up a little bit, get to bed, and then tomorrow I'll come back and finish up the rest of the painting. So the power of editing in about 2 seconds, you'll kind of see where I'm at. Okay, she's painted, so we're done. So looking good, touched up the nose area. Also had to add a little bit of glue to hold the tail in. It was a little bit loose. This guy right here, I keep knocking. I'm surprised I haven't broken off yet, to be honest with you. I keep bending it. So it was all painted, looking really good. And the underneath, I added the chaff, I think they are, dispensers in the red brown, put instructions, look really good too. And yeah, so what I did do added a couple of leading edges. They're not marked in instructions, but on reference pictures there are a little bit of leading edge there, back there on each wing, and also on the canards too. So there's a little bit of a leading edge going on there. Use the same aluminum I used for the rest of this jet, the Alclad. So it's going to look really good. I want to weather these up and glue these on at the very end, but then get that distinctive kind of Viggen look once these guys go on. But yeah, looking really good, really happy how it's turning out. So all's left now is really to clear coat it. I say this every video, but I clear coat it for 2 reasons. Firstly, to seal the paint in, and secondly, just to make it nice and smooth for the decals. We've got some really big decals going on this one, the big 10 on the wing. So you know, I'm a big believer in modeling. If you do something that works, don't change it, keep doing it. Otherwise you kind of try new things, sometimes you can fall into kind of problems. So I find, you know, whenever I put LP9 down, my decals go on no problem at all. If I don't, then sometimes I might have issues. So I'm going to follow my practice I always do. I know there's a big debate whether you should or not, but I mean, it's not just that. Secondly, like I mentioned, it seals the paintwork in. So, you know, if I knock it on the desk or my fingernail, whatever, I'm not going to scratch it. It's going to protect that paint we spent so hard working on. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this with LP9, which is my lacquer clear coat. Love this stuff. I don't hose it on for this kind of, for the aircraft. I just put like a nice thin coat on. If I'm doing a model car, you can really hose this stuff on and get really nice shine. Not 2K quality, but you can get a really nice shine with this stuff too, like you're really kind of glossing it on. So I'm going to do that off camera. So I think this video has gone long enough. So I'm going to do that. Painting wise, we're done. As always, any questions, put them below and I'll get back to you guys. Happy to answer them. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week, and we'll do decals and start weathering this thing. Bye.